Hi, dear colleague. So thank you very much for joining, all of you. Good to see you.
So, on behalf of ICBA and my own, I welcome all the participants of the international webinar on the production and consumption of quinoa, current situation and challenges in the times of the COVID-19. So, I welcome all you once again, and I will just tell some of the rules of that webinar quickly. This webinar is a part of series of international webinars arranged from 7 to 10 July across the globe to keep the momentum of 7th July designated as the International Day of Quinoa Consumption. I would like to inform you, all the participants, that their microphones are muted and the audio is off to avoid the echo as well as to save the bandwidth to ensure the smooth presentation sessions. If there is any comment, please use the chat function. This is in the on the bottom. You can use that. That can go to everybody. However, the webinar is being recorded and a link would be circulated just after the webinar. For questions, please use Q&A function button. That's also in the bottom on your screen, and all the questions will be compiled for the Q&A session, and panelists will take the questions. In case if they're not speaking, they can also respond immediately. However, we will have the Q&A session. For more information, anyone can connect or contact our ICBA support team, which is icba.webinar@biosaline.org.ae. We will give this the email and the chat function. So just to start that, the quinoa, which is a staple food of only indigenous people in the Andes in the South America before, has become a very popular food since 2013 when it was decided as the International Year of Quinoa. And today we have 6 distinguished speakers as panelists, and they are from various parts of the life. They are involved with the quinoa in the different capacity like administrator, policymaker, researchers, farmers, and even the famous chef with us. And in the last, we will have Professor Ricardo from Bolivia, the key personality of the whole movement, who will give the closing remarks. He is with us. So let's listen to the expert panelist, but request all the panelists to stick to the allocated time, please. So to start the webinar, I will invite first Dr. Isman Elloufi, Director General of ICBA. She's a distinguished academician as well. I will just tell about her brief background, because for the people who don't know her, but she is very well recognized throughout the world. She is internationally known as a strong advocate of the alternative approaches to food and nutrition security in the marginal environments, including use of neglected and underutilized crops and non-fresh water resources in agriculture. Actually, she is a very good, big proponent of the dietary diversity also. I see many times she always talk about the dietary diversity and using of the quinoa. She is a recipient of several prestigious awards and accolades, including the National Reward Medal by His Majesty Mohammed VI, the King of Morocco 2014, and also the Excellency in the Science Award from the Global Thinkers Forum 2014. And she has, around more than 2 decades of the experience in agricultural research and development in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. So over to you, Isman. Dr. Isman, for your opening remarks, please.
And thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, RK. And thank you to all the people that join us, and particularly the speakers and my colleagues from different institutions. Thank you very much, Jean, coming from FAO, Barato. Thank you very much, Chef Luca, from joining us as well. And thanks also to everybody for joining. I know that quinoa is getting more and more interest, and we appreciate your time on a Friday, particularly for people from this part of the world where Friday is a day off. We're really happy that you join us. So let me give you a bit of a perspective to just give an opening remark to this important day to promote quinoa consumption and production as well. So it is really a pleasure to welcome you all at our webinar dedicated to the production and consumption of quinoa. It is one of the series of virtual events organized in 12 countries to celebrate the International Day of Quinoa Consumption. The day itself is a grassroots initiative to generate more public awareness about this wonderful crop from the Andes and popularize its consumption. So it is really great to see how big this movement has grown up since it started just about 2 years ago. And we do have with us the person that started, Professor Ricardo Rodriguez, that's gonna talk about it later on. I'm sure everyone who has joined today shares our passion for the superfood, be it from the scientific perspective, the farming perspective, the business, or a consumer perspective. So quinoa became very popular after 2013 when it was declared the International Year of Quinoa by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO. And today it is served in restaurants in most of the world and is a favorite food of health-conscious people across the globe. It ticks all boxes in terms of health benefits. It's highly nutritious, it's gluten-free for those of us that have gluten intolerance, but most of all, I think it's very rich in amino acid, in vitamins, and in many micronutrients like iron and so on and so forth. So not only it is great for health, but it is also well suited to agriculture in marginal environments. And that's because it's a very diverse genetic base and it's a very elastic genetic crop. And that's why I think the Mayas used to call it the miracle crop in the Andes, because it could grow at the sea level as well as 3,000 meters up. So all this resilience that comes from the genetic background in the crop made it really going across the globe now. So our center, ICBA, was one of the first research organizations to recognize its potential for marginal environment. And we began our global quinoa program back in 2007. And at that time, we had with us Dr. Rao, Dr. Nanduri Rao. I hope he's with us today. He was a pioneer in really looking at the diversity and being interested in quinoa. And since then, many other people joined the program, and our scientists have worked with our partner, including FAO and many national programs, to test and introduce quinoa genotypes in different regions. And we have developed 5 high-yielding salt and drought tolerance varieties that we call ourselves ICBA Q1, Q2, Q3, up to 5. And we were very blessed and very happy to introduce it and work with national programs in the Middle East, for example, in the UAE, but also in KSA and other countries, in Saudi and others, in North Africa, in Central Asia and the Caucasus. So we have really very nice success stories in countries like Egypt, Morocco, Kyrgyzstan, and others. But unfortunately, quinoa is still considered a niche crop, an upmarket food. The very people who need it the most. Sophia, we have a camera on. I'm sorry, my daughter got in the room. So Sophia, stay there. Can I finish, baby, please? So sorry, guys. I have one. Our center has, So unfortunately, then it is still a very much a niche crop, and it is an upper market food. And the very people that needs it the most, which are the smallholder farmer and the rural household in marginal environment, do not produce it or consume it enough. Those that produce it in countries like Peru and Bolivia, they are not consuming it anymore. They are mostly selling it to get an income out of it. And the reason is that our food system is dominated by just few major crops. And the current situation caused by the pandemic of COVID-19 has shown us how risky to be dependent on only few crops. And particularly that risk is higher for low-income countries that are net food importers. And unfortunately, most of the big South countries are under this category. They are really low income, and at the same time, they are net food importing. So they are not producing what they need. So therefore, the concern about the sustainability of the food system in the face of climate change makes it a lot of question mark. It's really not good right now. We know with the climate change and with the heating up of the planet, it's going to be much more difficult. So we should try and turn this crisis into an opportunity to diversify and shock-proof our food system. Our food system, it's very fragile. It's very narrow-based. It's only based on few crops. And bring in crops like quinoa, like the fonio, like chia, like millet, like yams, and other will enrich our diet with superfood and will enrich our health as well and will be better for the planet. So I'm very happy that ICBA took part of this initiative, the International Day of Quinoa Consumption, because it's very important to bring up awareness and to bring up the people that are interested in the subject together. I'm looking forward to hear from our 6 esteemed speakers of their success stories and their perspective. And thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much, and over to you, RK. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sman. And it was really pleasure to listen to you about the importance of quinoa, which is a superfood, as you rightly mentioned. And it is very much relevant to the day topic, what you said that about the nutritional superiority of the quinoa and also the resilience in the marginal environment due to the very high elasticity of this crop. This is a really wonderful crop for that marginal environment. So going forward to this webinar, I will invite Mr. Jean Boroto. He is a senior land and water officer in the WASAC team, which is water scarcity in agriculture. He's the WASAC team leader in the FAO of the United Nations. Indeed, he is a civil engineer and he earned a master's degree in the water engineering way back in 1995 from the University of Stellenbosch in the South Africa. And he also develops hydrodynamic models in the estuarine dynamics and hydrology of Limpopo